Am I audible and clearly visible, Aditi?
You are not visible to me.
Okay. Am I visible now?
No.
Just a minute. Fine. Am I visible now?
No.
Just. I hope I'm visible now, Aditi.
Yes, you are. Go ahead.
Good to go. Thanks. Welcome back, everyone. I'm P. Shravan Kumar, the founder of SK Associates and Group, and your host for today's conference 1.9 on role of alliances and growth of startups.
And I'm Aditi Jain, the Chief Strategic Alliance Advisor of SK Associates and Group, and I'm Shravan's co-host for Conference 1.9 on role of alliances and growth of startups. We would like to request all the speakers and attendees to switch on your webcams and stay on video throughout the conference. Now, we would like to quickly introduce our guest for the third session of Conference 1.9.
Born in June 1952, Dr. Amarjit Chopra did his graduation and post-graduation from Delhi University in the years 1971 and 1973 respectively. He qualified as a chartered accountant in the year 1975. He has successfully completed his PhD on the topic NPA Management in Banks, a comparison of public and private sector banks in India in Feb 22. He has been in the profession for a period of more than 56 years and has been elected as the past president of ICI between the years 2011 to 2014. He is a senior partner in GSA and Associates LLP, New Delhi. He has also engaged in teaching at Deshbandhu Evening College, a Delhi University maintained college, for nearly 23 years. He was elected to Northern India Regional Council of ICI for two terms, 1985 to 88 and 1988 to 91, and was its chairman for the year 1988 to 89. He was elected to Central Council of ICI for 5 consecutive terms of 3 years each, beginning 1998 and ending 2013. He was elected as the president of ICI for the term 2010 to 11 and the vice president for the year before.
Our next guest on the panel is an international expert in engineering technologies, regulation, interconnection, and broadband with 42 years' experience in all aspects of telecom, including 25 years with government and regulator. Dr. Gupta is publicly recognized as an analyst, author, advocate, and advisor on ICT related policies, projects, and business. After post-graduation from IISc Bangalore, joined Ministry of Communication in 1981 and Ministry of Railways in 1983 and rose to the level of Additional Secretary in TRAI. He is recipient of coveted Minister of Railways Award for Outstanding Performance for Digitalization Project. A triple master in electronics design technology, IT management, and telecom policy and regulation, globally known as Engine Guru. He is trainer and coach for telecommunications, technologies, policies and regulations, and a regulatory advocate. Author of Everything Over IP, All You Want to Know About NGN. He also authored a concept called Job Factory, Converting Unemployment into Entrepreneurship. His recent research-based work, Long Tail, Walking the Extra Mile on Rural Broadband Business, brings out the innovative business models for rural broadband connectivity. He has also established and mentoring a consulting startups named SAM Corp Advisors managing government affairs as a service. He was also awarded Global Visionary Award by Vision World Academy in 2019 for his mission for rural women empowerment through Digigan Job Factory Foundation, a social enterprise. Based on his impact making business model, hotspots as managed service. He has been awarded PhD at sea by Commonwealth Vocational University, Kingdom of Tonga, Asia Pacific, as chair of Blockchain for Productivity Forum. He is engaged with various government departments and regulatory bodies with a mission to create an universal and ubiquitous blockchain infrastructure in country as digital public good and recognized among the top 50 influencers of blockchain in India by the community.
We also are glad to have Dr. Soma Arora, who is a professor at MRIIS India and a PhD scholar in management and MBA in international business from IIFT, a premier institution in India. She completed a graduation in economics honors from Calcutta University. Dr. Arora has an illustrious career in teaching at several AACSB accredited B schools in India and abroad, such as IMT, IIFT, MDI, University of Wollongong in Dubai, top 1% world QS ranking, amongst others. A recent area of expertise in business analytics is especially sought after the great learnings in collaboration with UT Dallas, USA. Dr. Arora has proven expertise as an independent researcher, publishing several teaching cases with Emerald and practitioner papers in Scopus Index journals. Dr. Arora has received special recognition as an instructor under the experimental learning project X Culture under professional Professor Vyasal Taras of UNGC, USA. Due to her exemplary contribution towards this global project, she is on the Strategic Advisory Board for Project X Culture.
We are also glad to have Dr. Reena Sharma, who is a qualified and high performing individual with excellent professional and technical skills achieved via rich cross functional exposure across the industry and education fraternity. She is an erudite academician and a qualified doctorate offering 16 plus years of global experience in providing visionary leadership and imparting quality education and training to a wider range of aspiring individuals and talented professionals. Area of expertise includes training, learning and development, sustainable tourism, women empowerment, research and entrepreneurship. She is currently associated with Lee Cordon Blue GD Goenka University, Gurgaon, India. She is also a co-founder of Venture, where they educate underprivileged children, which gives her utmost satisfaction. She is also the president for WICCI Learning and Development for Haryana. She is also one of the directors for one of the leading shoe chain in India, Shoetree. She has edited books and organized many international conferences.
We also have Mr. Siddhartha, who is a sustainability evangelist and a sales and marketing professional with close to 15 years of experience in investor relations and business development. He has previously worked with companies like L&T Finance Holdings, ICICI Bank, and Concept Public Relations. He holds a Sustainability Research Fellowship from International Sustainability Academy, Hamburg, Germany, which is funded by Federal German Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development. He is a coach at Climate KIC, Europe's largest public-private innovation partnership, focused on climate innovation to mitigate and adapt to climate change, funded by EU. He has built an HR tech startup for 3 years but failed to scale it. He has been an Asia Berlin speaker twice and is very much close to the Indo-German startup ecosystem. He is also co-founder of a German startup called Circle, which is a tech platform helping organizations to build psychologically safe cultures and strengthen employee-to-employee relationships.
Last but not the least, we are honored to have Mr. Biswan Senapati, who is a platinum level ERP SAP consultant having 20 plus years of industry. Experience in domain consulting, business consulting, and solution architect for large scale ERP systems design, development, implementations, rollout, support, and business process re engineering capacity in supply chain, chemicals, high tech, CPG, pharmaceuticals, wholesale, fashion retailer, healthcare, and manufacturing domains. Mr. Biswan has worked with SAP Group of consulting companies, that is Home Depot, Sony, Gordon Foods, Constellation Brands, All In Corporations, HPE Ecolabs, TSC, Heinz Brands, PVH Aplex, ECCO Denmark, Mindtree Germany, Cyber USA, Cognizant, Capgemini, and Deloitte Consulting.
Firstly, we would like to request all the guest speakers attendees to kindly switch on your respective webcams during the conference. We would also like to inform all the attendees that whoever is without webcams for this session will be removed at approximately 7:15 p.m. So please ensure your webcams are on throughout the session. Now, we would like to further invite Dr. Satyan Gupta, Chairman of Bluetown, to commence his speech.
Oh, thank you, SK team and all the other teams, panelists and the students. Actually, it's a great honor for me, and let me thank you for the nice introduction you have given. Actually, it's a very, very heartening thing. So, I just want to know what you like me to talk and for how much time. Actually, can you please tell me
Sure, sure,
how much
sure,
time?
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 15 to 20 minutes. You can give a speech about role of alliances in growth of startups.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So,
Thank you
what
so
I
much.
like to do actually, as the theme of these alliances, role of alliances for the growth of startups. Actually, incidentally, I'm mentoring three startups, and they are of different kind. But I'll focus my discussion on one of my latest startup called. Digigaon Job Factory actually. So it's basically its theme is to convert unemployment into entrepreneurship, and it is slightly different than the entrepreneurship, but it has all the same ingredients. So this startup actually was found last year, and it is actually modeled on what I will call a social enterprise. Like normally you have NGO, which are a social association or social entities, or you have a business, which are enterprises. So we have tried to club both the angle. Actually, these days, these ESG is a buzzword, CSR is there, corporate social responsibility. And so to take advantage of all various policies, law, and regulation, we created this startup as a social enterprise. The purpose of a social enterprise is that you solve a social problem as a business, solving a social problem as a business. And there, the main object of the enterprise is to solve the social problem, and secondary object is to make profit. So it is not that it is a NGO or non-profit organization. So it is allowed to make profit also, and we need different sections to be complied with here. And first section is, as you know, section 8. Earlier it used to be called section 25. That is required for all social kind of company or not for profit company. So that section we have also registered our startup. In addition to that, you need 2 3 more registration with the government, and one of them is called ATG, other one is called 12A, and third one is you have to register yourself in the MCA website as a social enterprise. MCA is Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So that is how the business is structured actually, and what kind of approvals are required. So basically, and we have made big use of what you have called alliances or partnership. Normally, the partnership starts with the famous structure called PPP, public private partnership. Most of the partnership fall in that category, where in a government entity or the government department and a private entity, a industry, business, in a individual, they collaborate together to achieve a common outcome or objective, and share the risk, the cost, and the benefits. So that is what is public private partnership. That is the starting point of alliances actually in any business. But most of the time, these PPP projects, they really don't meet the end game. Most of them actually results either as a failure, or if they succeed with a lot of time overrun, cost overrun, and finally they land into litigation and arbitration. That is the, especially in the Asia Pacific, including our country, all the PPP projects have all these kind of outcome or these kind of end game kind of thing. So that is why we thought, let us go beyond the PPP. And we constructed our company as a 5P partnership. 5Ps, I have added two more P before public-private partnership. The first P is the people. That is what we call man on the ground, people. And the second P is panchayat, because we are working in rural, so we wanted to local government also to be a partner in the game, and man on the ground also to be a partner, not just an employee. And that is where we created this intrapreneurship. Basically, intrapreneurship, the difference between entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship is very, very narrow. As you know, for intrapreneurship, we need two things. One, the money, initial money, and second, the risk taking capability. These two things are required if you want to become an entrepreneur. So money can be your own, you can beg or borrow or take from your friends, family, but money is the starting point of becoming a entrepreneurship. And the by definition, entrepreneurship means taking risk. That means to start with, you have to put your own money also. That is also called skin in the game. But when we were talking about the rural India and we wanted to solve some social problem, so we found out, and that was known also, that the rural people will not have any of these things. First of all, they may have no money. Even if they have money, they may not have risk-taking capability. Everyone cannot have risk-taking capability, even in urban. Very few of them have the risk-taking capability, and they dare to become entrepreneur. And you see the result, because most of the startups are actually failing. As you know, for the record, only 10% startups succeed. So 90% startups result into failure, actually. So then we try to create this new partnership wherein if you want to become the entrepreneur, you don't have to put your skin in the game. You don't need money. We will provide you the money. That is one thing. The second thing is, you also don't have to take risk if you don't want. If you want the take the risk, you are welcome. If you don't want to take the risk, then we can guarantee you some kind of monthly income for your efforts, actually. If you put some money, we can guarantee you some kind of returns also. If you don't put your money, you just put your time, so we can also provide you some kind of guaranteed salary. Otherwise, your main earning will be as a commission or as a percentage of the revenue you generate. And that is how it is working. So that is what I have called intrapreneurship. So you bridge the gap, which people don't have, most of them. Some of them, they want to take a risk, but they have no money. Some of them have money, but they don't want to take risk. So in our model, it works. So what we exactly do now, our main basically theme is to convert the unemployment in rural India into entrepreneurship or intrapreneurship. So what we do, I'm basically from telecom, and one of my other startup is doing connecting the unconnected by using Wi-Fi as a technology in rural India. So we take from there, actually, and they are not a social enterprise. They are a private limited company, profit making and preparing itself to go public, or what they call IPO, actually. So what they do, they make use of PPP, that main PPP, public private partnership. They have the partnership with the company is called Blue Town India. They have partnership with the government telco. The government telco means BSNL, BBNL, MTNL, Railtel, Power Grid, PowerTel, all these. So we are partner there, and we use their infrastructure to bridge the last mile gap. And I have called it hotspot as a managed service, for which I was awarded my PhD also, actually, from the concept to commissioning. Now I'm actually practicing that. I provide the last mile connectivity with my own investment to the telcos by making use of their infrastructure to provide end-to-end connectivity in the village. So that is what we are doing. But this new startup which I'm talking, these 5 startup Digigam, this take from there. So we have already created a hotspot in a village through the other company, and now from that hotspot actually we select one person from the village. Mainly we are also making use of the 4 scheme of the Prime Minister. One is Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, Startup India, and Stand Up India. In the Stand Up India, actually, you can give a lot of facility to the women or the other caste like OBC and tribal people, and then you get compensation or you get CSR money and all that. So that is why we select normally a lady in a village. She may be just 10+2, and then we train her to become a Wi-Fi entrepreneur, or what we call VLE, village level entrepreneur. And the training cost is borne by the government under Skill India actually. So we don't have to invest in the training. It's a 1-month program where all these basic things about the electricity, computer, mobile phone, Wi-Fi configuration, so that she can manage a hotspot and sell the Wi-Fi coupon or sell the Wi-Fi connectivity to the villagers. So that is the work she does. And the agreement is whatever revenue is generated, so she gets 50% of that if she does not invest a penny. Most of them are in that category. So if they invest, the investment required per village is about 2 lakhs rupees. So then they get 75% of the revenue, and we just get 25%, which we share between us and the operator, the government telco. That is how it is working actually. So we have made use of these 5P model of alliances. We have made use of the existing infrastructure. We have made use of the various government scheme: Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, Startup India, Stand Up India. And we have also innovated a technical model which I have named EOT. EOT, it is not IoT. IoT, all of you know. EOT is everything on the tower. So what we do, the base station, the access point, the power supply, content, everything we put in a box and hang it on a existing tower or a infrastructure. So we don't create a separate tower, and that is safe also. It consumes less power supply, actually just 5 watt. So even solar is enough, and that makes the hotspot up and running, and its capacity is about 500-meter radius. So in that radius, if there is a school or a hospital, there also bandwidth goes, or but otherwise people in that area can access the Wi-Fi also. Normally in the villages you don't have 4G, and we specially select those type of villages we don't have 4G. They have 2G, 3G, but no 4G. So we give them 4G kind of experience through these hotspots, the Wi-Fi based hotspot, making use of the existing infrastructure of the operator, making use of the various schemes of the government, as I have mentioned, and these partnership. So that is where I think I'll stop. If there are some questions, I'm available for that.
Thank you, Dr. Gupta. Further, moving ahead, I would like to ask our attendees to put forward their questions, if any. Kindly unmute yourself and ask the questions. Anyone have any questions?
Anyone here? Any questions? Even our fellow speakers are, invited to cross question each other if they do have anything in specific.
So thank you. I think
just a minute. Mr. Mathur here has a question, I guess. Yeah, Abhinav, you can continue.
Yes, sir. Very good evening, sir. So I have a question. Like you told about that entrepreneurship. So what's the role? How to how to what's the how the entrepreneurship impact on the alliance system of the with the this startups? You can say what's the
Yeah,
role of that entrepreneurship?
yeah, actually, entrepreneurship is a word which is not very common or very, let us say, defined word. I have just tried to coin it and taken from somewhere. It is not different than entrepreneurship. It is everything what an entrepreneur have to do. Only thing is, it does not need to take the risk. So because people want to become entrepreneurship, all that, but they are risk averse. So if you are, by the definition of entrepreneurship, you have to take risk. Suppose I want to do business, I want to make my startup, or I want to start a startup, but I don't want to take risk. Then as per the strict definition of entrepreneurship, he is not a fit person. But that is why we have basically modified it actually. Normally, the entrepreneurship by strict definition means if you are doing a job, within the job, you also do business, like this moonlighting thing is coming these days. Now you are talking that you can do what is called a side business. So actually, entrepreneurship means that you are doing a job, so your salary is guaranteed, and you are doing a side business. Many people do that, and that is informally they do it. But entrepreneurship actually permit them or enable them to do it formally. So we have used those kind of concepts actually here, and so that we are trying to create the entrepreneur in villages, especially these women, without them pitching in some money which they may not have, and without having them to take risk, because some of them may have money but they will say, no, no, I have money, I don't want to risk my money because I cannot afford that. So then we do both the things for them actually, which they don't want, and finally they become entrepreneur. Finally, that is called VLE, village level entrepreneur. Finally, so that is how.
Means
So it
we
is.
can, sorry to interrupt you, sir.
Yes,
So
please.
means we can say that entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship is correlated with each other. We can say that.
Yes, correlated. They are one and the same thing. Intrapreneurship is a, you can say, a subset of entrepreneurship where you do something like a side business, or you do some business without putting your own money and without taking risk. But it is an entrepreneurship.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Eh, Thank you.
For
Yo, we have a question from Ms. Naidu. If you would like to tell us something regarding your experience as an entrepreneur while building Blue Town.
Oh yes, yeah. Basically, Blue Town I built about 5 years back, and that was where actually, of course, it was. Before that, I was in a job. Actually, I was in a corporate job. As you mentioned, 25 years I worked with the government. Then I went to one MNC. Then I went to one what is called Indian company also, which is an Indian MNC, of course. And then this Blue Town, when I built, actually the idea came to me because when I was in government, I used to give jobs to some of people from my village. Someone will come and we used to help them. Those days it was easier, and especially when I was in railway, we could give jobs to people. So that continued. And when I left the government, I came to private. So when people from my village came, and I could not help them because you just cannot give a job like that. And that continued for 5 6 years, and I was very very embarrassed when I could not help. Then I thought, let one of my last chairman, and that was Mr. Anil Agarwal, with whom I was working actually in my last corporate job. And he used to tell me, actually, if something is not there, create it. Create it means manufacture it. It's a factory mindset. Actually, he had a lot of factories. So when there was a shortage of bandwidth in the country, and those days, even now that shortage continues. So then he told, let us manufacture the bandwidth. I told, sir, we cannot manufacture the bandwidth. He told, why? I told, sir, we are manufacturing cables and bandwidth is beyond that. He told, no, why don't you use the cable and create the bandwidth? I told we have to lay it and we need permission, we need license. He told, why don't you do all these things? So we did that, and my assignment given was called Bandwidth Factory, though it was not manufacturing the bandwidth, but concept was Bandwidth Factory. So then when this thing came that I wanted to give jobs and all that, I wanted to create employment, he told you have to manufacture the jobs. So I told, sir, how to manufacture the jobs? He told, no, you first of all, you create job for yourself. So you have to become the entrepreneur yourself. So he basically motivated me and I became the entrepreneur. And that is where I created this. And my aim is, and for that, from that day onward, I'm creating one job per day minimum. That is minimum. And that is continuing for last 5-6 years. So I joined with the government and took these concept and all the villages where there was no broadband. And even now, I have not completed all the villages. I've done about 15,000 villages only, and 4 lakhs villages of the country still don't have broadband. So a lot of work to be done. But every day, at least, we are doing at least one. There are another scheme of government now which we are using, that is called PM Wani, Pradhan Mantri Wi-Fi Access Network Interface. Actually, that is an Indian thing, and without a license, you can start providing broadband service. You don't need any license, and you don't have to share any revenue with the government, and the banks give you loan, though I'm not tapping that, like SIDBI loan, Mudra loan are there. So I don't want to take that loan because you have to repay that with the interest is slightly higher. So that is how we started this. So initially there are a lot of problem, and one thing, maybe if there are some students and they want to use, and that is my other expertise, that is called blue ocean strategy. I'm a certified trainer of the Blue Ocean Strategy. I teach that in IIM Lucknow also. And so that is that. If any of you as student want to become an entrepreneur and want to create a startup, make use of what is called Blue Ocean Strategy. It was developed by Dr. Kim of the INSEAD. So according to me, and all my startups are following Blue Ocean strategy. I myself is a trainer for that. So if you make use of Blue Ocean strategy, which I did in Blue Town also, so you will never fail actually. That is my guarantee actually. And maybe sometime your platform can invite me for your students to deliver a talk on Blue Ocean strategy. How to make success of your startup actually. That is a presentation I do for about 1 hour, and it is very good, very practical. I myself is a practitioner of that, in fact.
Yeah, Mr. Sharma, you can ask your question.
Yeah, there is one question which have come: a partnership in companies in
No,
different
that's a
focus.
call. That's opinion call for attendees. No issue.
Okay.
Miss Reena Sharma, you had a question, I guess.
Yes. Can you hear me, Dr. Gupta?
Oh yes, madam, I can hear you very well. I can see you also.
All right, I am Dr. Reena Sharma. So very interesting concept, and I'm very impressed, and at the same time intrigued. So you mentioned something about training one woman per woman and on Wi-Fi. So my question to you is that has that happened in some part of Haryana, because that's the region I belong to, and I do a lot of women-oriented activities. So is that happening in some parts of Haryana villages? And is it
Oh,
current? Is it happening currently, or this has happened in the past?
no, madam. Yeah, thank you for your question. Incidentally, I'm also from Haryana, from Jind, but I left my village about 50 years back, of course, but we still have roots there. And it has not happened in Haryana, but it has a potential. At the moment, the work I have done is, initially I was given the mandate, it was through a tender for East India. Now they have given me all India, and I will be going to Haryana also. So I have done it in Jharkhand, in Bihar, in West Bengal, and now Madhya Pradesh also. But in our new phase, we are coming to Uttarakhand also, Uttar Pradesh also, and Haryana also. But at the moment, the work is happening in Gujarat also. Actually, if you want to see or if you want to visit, and you can visit our website also, digigaonfoundation.com. Digigaonfoundation.com actually. And so that DigiGaon is run by the women only. Actually, I'm just a mentor. And also there we are making use of actually the one more learning, because you are also from working for that. So one learning, and that came very important. Actually, initially we used to train these girls from the village, and they will be trained and they will be empowered. They will be made really. And after few months, the girl will get married and she will go to the neighboring village actually. So all our efforts goes waste, then we have to restart. Then I decided, and that is a great thing, and that is the logo of the DigiGaon also. If you'll go to website, or if you can see there, it is written here, Uddami Bahu. Uddami Bahu means, then we thought the girl who has come after marriage to the village, and that is the daughter-in-law. So let us invest in her, because she will now not go back from that village. She is married for life in the village, and that is working very well. So we are actually empowering the daughters-in-law or the married women basically, so that they are permanent there. They don't go away because of their marriage anymore. And that is a concept we are using everywhere. It is really helping us actually. And they are more loyal, they are more permanent there, and their esteem increases in their in-laws family, that now they start earning also actually. They have to do everything what the in-laws want, but in addition to, without leaving the village, if she can earn also, let us say it may be 8 to 10,000 rupees only. So that is what is really making some impact. That is what we are doing. But if you are in Delhi, our office is in World Trade Center, and you can visit them also, our girls who are doing all these things actually. So our website, you people should visit digigaonfoundation.com.
All right. I will do that, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Aditi, if you can just continue.
Sure. Further, moving ahead, we would like to thank Dr. Gupta for his informative and knowledgeable speech, and I request him to share his mail in the chat box for any queries our attendees might have. Further,
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Further, we would like to invite Dr. Soma Arora, professor at MRIAS, to share her insights.
Well, thank you, Aditi, for the very nice introduction. And I'm very happy to be part of this team making the presentation today. So, first of all, I'm very close to where Satya Gupta is working with his NGO. That is, my university is located in Faridabad, Haryana. And also, yes, and I do see a need for a lot of women development over there, because women are not very educated or in professional roles right now. But yes, they are coming up, and the university, Manav Rachna, is probably the only very established accredited university in Faridabad, Haryana zone. So we are doing a lot of work, and it's nice to know that Satya Gupta ji is available if he wants to carry on some SDG goals, mapping of the SDG goals to DG Foundation. Very nice, sir. So, very nice. And another observation today I had is, we have now, I can see so many students, I think, aspiring students with us in this room where we are having this meeting. So I'm a professor. So by profession, I teach, right? So I keep meeting students and I keep delivering lectures, etc. Basically, it would be nice if later on, probably Strategic Alliances would have shared with us that what are the goals and objectives of the students, because right now we can't rewind, and go back to the beginning. But yes, it would have been nice to know that what they want, what kind of courses they want to join, what are the objectives, etc. So maybe later, yeah, during the discussion, we can have that. Coming to my profession and what I teach, basically, I'm a professor of international business and marketing, so which was evident during my introduction also. And my PPT today, or rather, what I'm going to share is related to strategic alliances for overseas markets. So it's a different cry from what Satyaji is doing. I'm totally into the international markets and how international market expansion process is completely aligned to strategic alliances. So it could be startups, it could be non-startups, it can be big company, small company, but we definitely need alliances for any kind of movement abroad. So that is my PPT. So it's a very nutshell. I will share with you that I have worked with a company called Polaris. Polaris is into ATVs. So I will share the PPT just in a second, and I'll show you the pictures of this particular, um, vehicle, which you can see here. And once I shared the picture, now I hope my screen is visible to everybody.
It's coming.
Aditi, can you
Yes.
confirm that the screen is visible?
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
So if you Okay, so here you can see the pictures. So I'll just elaborate a little on this picture and what we did. So basically, you see where my cursor is moving, this particular area. These are ATVs. These are known as ATVs. So ATVs are nothing but all-terrain vehicles, as they're called. So all-terrain vehicles are basically these ones which run on rugged roads and not on normal areas. So you can see these Himalayan mountains, these are like pathways like this, or these kind of rugged zones here. So these rugged zones, they require a different kind of a vehicle, which is this ATV. So what happened was we can use these kind of vehicles for mountains, for military activities, for defense, and we can also use them for pleasure vehicles. That means they are used as leisure vehicles, which are required by people for adventure purposes, right? So Polaris is a company based in Minnesota in USA, and they have their branch, their overseas operations in India. So when they came to India, they started operating in fully built nature. That means the vehicles were completely imported in that form for India. But Indian market was not ready to accept this vehicle. It is very expensive as a leisure vehicle. So what they did was they created this word where, as you can see, Polaris Experience Zone. This thing. So this Polaris Experience Zone was a novel creation which they had, in which they decided that we could simply look at these kind of pathways which are made man-made instead of natural rugged ways, right? And then these pathways would be used for their vehicles, and therefore these kind of pathways would help them in establishing their product in the Indian market. So this concept, my students, if they want to kind of learn, is known as experiential marketing. This is a concept in experiential marketing. That means you experience the product in a particular setting or an experimental zone, and then you get the feel of the product, and then you apply it to the real place, or take it to the real area to work on it. Now the issue was that they wanted India to be the base for Polaris and use it as a base structure. Now here, as you can see, this is then my next slide, in which I've put forward some questions, like they're looking for a supplier network in Colombo, Sri Lanka, which had been selected as target destination for the South Asian vision of Polaris. Other destination was Kazakhstan, and the managing
Dr.
director of
Soma,
Polaris,
sorry to interrupt you.
the decision cards were difficult
I believe you are having network
because
issues.
they did not know which destination to choose. Would that be Sri Lanka, or would that be Kazakhstan? Kazakhstan. So between Sri Lanka and Pakistan, they had to get into the decision-making mode, and these questions which they were asking. So the question, and students, you can observe issues of the new territory. Yes, Aditi? Is the screen?
Yeah, the screen is visible.
I believe you're having network issues.
Now is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay. Better.
It's okay now? Okay. Clear? Okay. Thank you. I think, yeah, there was a network problem. Yeah. So this company was facing so many questions, like which particular territory to enter. So we say strategic alliance should be basically what? Should it give you a partner which is healthy in terms of financial decision making? Like, a lot of financial institutions are there. Another kind of strategic alliance is I'll give you a lot of control. That means, so these are various kinds of things you can get from a strategic alliance partner. But the point is here, this is a very specific case, and I want the students to kind of focus on it. Was the alliance partner was what he
Is Dr. Soma yet in the meet, Aditi? Yeah,
Yeah, she's facing issues. Let me.
no issues. Dr. Arora will be joining us in a minute. I would like to request the audience to kindly pay attention to the polls meanwhile. Yeah, the opinion polls are in the chat box. You can just have a look at it.
okay. Okay, am I audible now? Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Aditi, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you are.
So just for the benefit of the network, I am closing. Okay, I'm for the benefit of the network, I am closing the camera because that avoids connectivity. So I've closed the camera here and I've reconnected. So let's start the presentation where we left off. So basically, what we are saying is that so many decision making issues are there. There's a dilemma in decision making. But here, what got into us was that can we replicate this polarist experience zone? That means, can we have this kind of a structure in these countries like Sri Lanka and Kazakhstan, the Polaris experience zone created or replicated so that these vehicles could be used over there? So, what I'm trying to bring to the table discussion here is that sometimes it's not about money, sometimes it's not about pure investment or just collaboration. Sometimes it is about a particular concept which the company has been using and whether the partner is willing to take this concept ahead in brand building, because it's not necessary every alliance partner agrees to this kind of a concept and says that I will buy your product. They have to agree to the concept to buy this product, I mean, to sell it ahead and to collaborate. So my sharing thoughts, would be with this particular group is that when you're looking at strategic alliances, it is always better to keep this particular thought in mind that you have got uh, this concept of marketing which is successful and use it in any market which comes forward. Thank you so much for your attention. I'll stop sharing and you can start asking your questions kind of ask questions at this stage. Thank you so much for your attention. I'll stop sharing and you can start asking your questions, kind of ask questions at this stage.
I would like to ask the attendees that they can ask any questions if they have.
Any questions to be addressed out here?
Well, I think they've understood everything, so there are no questions over here.
Yeah, no issues.
Yeah.
I would like to thank Dr. Soma Arora, professor from MRIIS, for her amazing speech. And I would also like to request Dr. Soma to kindly share your email ID in the chat box
Of
for any queries our attendees might have in future.
Of course, I will do that. Thank you. Thank you, Aditi.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Shravan, right? And we'll be in touch.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
It will be a pleasure. Further, moving ahead, I would like to invite Dr. Reena Sharma K, co-founder of Khushi, to commence her speech and share her insights.
Thank you, Shravan, and thank you, SK team, for inviting me. Am I audible? All right, wonderful. So we've heard a lot of words of wisdom, and I can see a lot of young students who have joined here. I will share the screen, and just please let me know if I'm able to share the screen.
The third button from the right,
Yes.
it has a symbol of a square with the upper
Yes.
pointing cursor. If you could just click on it.
Yeah, I'm doing it. Is the screen visible?
Yeah, it is.
Yes. So welcome the students and the young budding professionals who have joined the session today. So if you can see, I've taken a small picture which shows you what exactly startups and alliances are. And to give you a very simple definition, I'm sure you would have known by now. This is the third day of the conference going on. It's an arrangement between two companies to undertake a mutually beneficial project while each retains its independence. So that is the beauty of strategic alliance, wherein I have a benefit and the person whom I am alliancing with has a benefit too. So it's a mutual benefit which we both, or we, when I say we, it can be a team of my company and the team of other company. We mutually are benefiting, but at the same time I am at my own will. I have my own independence to share my views, and I have my own independence to be firm where I want to be. Usually, sometimes in partnerships it so happens that you have to go quiet sometimes, but that doesn't happen, and it should not happen in a healthy alliance. I have taken a small example. If you can see here, this is a very this is an excellent example of a good strategic alliance, which is Uber and Spotify. So that Uber has a worldwide massive clientele, right? And Spotify, has a very very strong and excellent technological advancement. So uh, for Spotify, he could get the wider consumer audience which Uber had to offer. And Uber provides the consumers, and Spotify offers the technology. So that's how they become a good strategic alliance. And that's just one example. I know these are big brands, and when we are talking to this young crowd, uh, we are primarily trying to showcase on how you can develop the inclination or forte to get into entrepreneurship, and in entrepreneurship startups. So I will share my example. I had come down from Venezuela, South America, 2016, and we were not very sure that whether we'll be going back there or not. So I'll tell you, I had since I have been into training and development all my life and teaching, so I had opened a very small children's startup, which I won't say it was unique, but yes, it was still a very novel concept. And I had started a children's or kids enrichment center in Delhi. And that we as Indian parents, to occupy our children even when they grow up, we try sending them to different places. So I and along with my partner, we had created a small space wherein we tried to give them new options, and that's what the world needs. People sent, the children for sports activities. They send you for personality development, and this doesn't end. There's no end to it. So what we thought that, let's give the parents and children some unique experience. And what we gave them a storytelling experience. So we had developed a storytelling room wherein we had developed a tree, and signifying that, how in earlier times, the people of the village used to collect together under a tree, and the heads of the villages or the panchayat people will keep on telling the stories. We had also um, called specialists, or I would say experts from different fields, like ballet. People used to come and teach ballet. We had called experts from foreign languages, and not the usual French and German. We had called for the Spanish experts. So of course, and then not karate, it was a different form. It is again a Chinese form of, defense. So and that gave us an excellent start. That gave us an excellent start. Like I mentioned about my startup too, that, you keep innovating, and the young generation, the Gen Z, I would say, of India is extremely creative. I keep talking to my students in the university, and when we talk of writing a research paper or, doing a project, they are, full of innovative and creative ideas. So that's something very, very important, and to be kept in mind, that, you have to be innovative beyond your capabilities. So, it's like keep thinking. And again, a small example, because I just believe in giving examples from the live real world. So I'm sure there would be many people who are die hard fan of Sachin Tendulkar. So he had just one goal in mind. cricket, cricket, cricket. So he used to sleep cricket, he used to eat cricket. When he used to use the washroom, he was only thinking of his shots and how I'm going to play this shot better next time. So how to innovate his existing skill. So that should be the key when you're talking or thinking of the startup alliances. And devising the plan, determining the goals, and I'm sure you would have heard a lot about this. Brainstorming potential partners. So brainstorming potential partners, again, a very very important factor, wherein you have to think, you have to brainstorm that is this my potential partner, because sometimes I might think that oh, financially this brand is excellent, but is that brand blending well with your concept or with your startup? So that is something you need to keep in mind, other than your plan in place and of course determining the goals beforehand. um and again, I would quote Dr. Gupta. So like he said that not all the startups are doing great, and sometimes we feel, and it's I mean, we are not here to discourage you but to encourage you to go for a startup, go for a novel idea, or maybe for a unique idea. And even if it's an older idea, how you package it in a brand new form is the key. So these are the pros and cons. It may result in gaining customers, may generate additional revenue, may diversify a company's revenue stream. It may reduce operational risk also, may positively influence the brand and perception of the company. So these are the pros, these are the benefits. However, it also may require working, collaborating, and communicating with larger teams, which again is there's no harm in doing it. It may result in one side getting a better deal than the other, even if this wasn't that was planned. So it might so happen, maybe you would have thought that oh, I am the person or the brand you're alliancing with, that he's already an existing brand for so many years, and the brand is very confident. They feel okay, I am just investing into this project, right? Because they just need to invest into a new idea. But it so happens that on the contrary, the person who gets alliance with is doing much better. So this can happen. It can, conflicts can be a very very major and a major challenging issue, when sometimes you agree, you disagree on longer term strategies. And it also may negatively influence the brand and perception of the company. As is again both way. It can be the person who's already established as a brand. It can be for the person who is still penetrating or entering the market, and for both as well sometimes. So that would be, that what was a brief presentation. And if you have any questions, I mean, I'm here to answer.
I would like to ask the attendees to put forward their questions if any they have. Anyone have any questions? Abhinav, Divya. Okay. So further moving ahead, we would like to thank Dr. Reena Sharma for her.
Sorry to interrupt. I have a question. Yeah.
Sure, please.
Thank you, Reena ma'am, for the speech. I just have a very small question. When we start a new startup, a new business, we see sometimes there is a growth. However, after a significant growth, there is a drop. There is a bit of a drop, and then going ahead with the same thought process, or with the same product, or with the same process, it becomes little difficult. Then how to tackle those negative points?
Excellent question, Teja. Am I saying your name correctly, Teja?
It's Tejal.
Tejal, I'm so sorry, Tejal.
No
Tejal.
problem.
So, Tejal, if can I know what exactly do you do? If you're okay to share.
Yes, I have started a business. I am also working with a company, and I've started a business which is into women's clothing. So
Wonderful.
initially it was going well, but then later on I saw a little bit of a drop, and then now again I'm trying to get back to the same position. However, I know it will take little time. So I'm just trying to check with you how you have tackled if there are any sort of thing in your business you have handled.
Excellent question. And this would be a part and parcel of your business. So like I mentioned that that was like a dream project wherein I was taking care of a children enrichment center. At the same time, in the introduction, Aditi mentioned that I am also a director of a shoe brand, a leading shoe brand in India, one of the directors, that's Shoe Tree. So we have the stores pan India. And let me tell you, it so happens with us that every now and then, it's not only because of COVID, we have been shutting down the stores, again reopening in a new market. So this would keep on going. But then again, innovation, positivity, and a great team. If you have the great team and if you have the great marketing strategy in place, then I don't think so you will look back. You might you might find that, oh, this month I did really well, because you're still in a very initial and naive stage. So you might feel, oh, this month I did extremely well, and the next month will be very low, very dull for you. But that's the learning. You have to be prepared for the risks. You have to be prepared for some financial losses as well. But till the time you're very confident of your product, the quality of the concept, and of your marketing strategy, and of course your clientele, and that should be a repeat clientele, I don't think so then you will look back. So your team should be in place. You should have a lot of positivity, and of course you would need recurring funds. So any business or any empire cannot be made in a day, you know that. So it will take you a year, 2 years. And I think how much time have you spent in this clothing business?
Just 6 months.
6 months, right? So 6 months is too short a time to jump onto a decision or a conclusion. And in those 6 months, if you feel that even if 2 months you have did fairly well, so I think your battle is half won. And trust me on that.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I wish you good luck.
Thank you. Thank you for clearing the doubts. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Anyone have any questions? Okay. Further, moving ahead, we would like to thank Dr. Reena Sharma for her fabulous speech, and I request her to share her mail in the chat box for any queries our attendees might have. Now, we would like to invite Mr. Biswaranjan, former senior consultant at Deloitte US, to share his views.
Thank you very much. Let me share my screen.
Mr. Sinapati, if you can just switch on your webcam.
I have some issues on the camera. Is it okay? You can talk in only talk.
It's fine.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, good evening to all. So I'm Bishwan Senapati. I'm based out of Chicago, Illinois. It's like morning 9:30 now. So I would like to talk about some of the philosophy and concept of entrepreneurship, what a entrepreneur or what a business journey should start, and how someone should start in the business. So the thing is, I've been to consulting, I've been to research. I'm a double PhD holder in quantum computing and AI machine learning. So it's a very niche technology. I've been doing a lot of research in the real world. So my thoughts are a little bit different than others. So what I seen in the life and what I seen in the business is not really important. Somebody asks, oh, what do you say, how much money you make? Because people are so materialistic now. We all talk about money, money, money. Yeah, that's required. Money is required. Money is the most part of our life. But money is not everything for our life, right? When you read certain scripture, we call old epics or ethics, whatever you say, that gives the most powerful in one life. So I have seen my life in such a way. I was fighting a battle, still I'm fighting a big battle like Mahabharat, and I am the winner of that battle. So I'll tell you what strategy you should follow in your entrepreneurship, because I started my two entrepreneurship activity in way back in India. So I just got some ideas. So Let me share you a couple of thoughts here. So one is like, there are 8 rules. I would say there are 8 basic rules to be a good entrepreneur in the current world. So first one is focus on your work, not a result. So for example, let's say you started a like fashion brand, right? Or you are studying of a food industry or beverage industry. What you should do? Ideally, every entrepreneur they start doing, okay, today I spend 1 million. So tomorrow, how much I will make? Let's say 2 million or 3 million or 4 million, or maybe acquire a lot of customers. That's your goal, but don't deviate your goal. First, you focus your work. What is your ideal scenario or ideal environment? If you're studying a company in India, you should research your company, you should research your brand, you should focus what you can do, what you can bring the best out of the competitions. You should adopt certain technology, certain tools, certain motivation. You should motivate yourself. The whole idea of this, I would say, the 6-page slide is motivate, 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 and motivate. There is no other alternative to motivate. Nobody can motivate you until you motivate yourself. Whether you are a startup like CEO, whether you are a brand manager, whether you are a IT engineer, whether you are a researcher like me, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are self motivated. You should motivate. How you are going to motivate, that you have defined. You love your customer, not the result. You love your like action, what you can bring. Suppose you are starting a shoe business, what is the best way you can you can make others happy? So why people will love your product, why people will like you, even there is a COVID or there is a certain situation where people can buy your product. So how best we can reach the product? So whether you are going for online marketing, whether you are going for a offline, or whether you're going to deliver in like self delivery, whatever. So the second point is reunion, like reunifications, which is most. So when you look at the Bhagavad Gita, it says like, how do we make certain things ideal for our business today? Lot of company or lot of entrepreneurship or lot of institutions, they are teaching Bhagavad Gita. Why? Do you know? Because it is the source of knowledge. So most of the people, we lost that because we thought, okay, this modernity, all of the modernization happened and we are all in the modern age. Yes, we are in modern age, but doesn't necessarily mean that we have to forget our old culture or old ethics, what have been written, let's say, a million year ago or 2 million year ago, right? So we have to understand why it has been written and what has been written. I'm not saying you have to go and read like me, no, not necessary, but you have to follow your mind. So what your mind says. Does your mind says to build a $1 million product or to make huge money and without any value? No, you can't create that product, right? You have to define your product, you have to define your vision, you have to define your business in such a way people will love you. Even you are not there, people love your products. So they will like you, they will come to you, and they'll attach you based on the value. You're creating a best value, that is called implication to business. Once you develop the value, you will definitely be a winner in the such a work. The next point is I would like to discuss with adapter Paris. So there are two things. So as for the karma, let's say everybody do their work, right? We are doing 8 to 10 hour work in every day. That is must. Don't leave your like work ethics. For example, let's say you are planning to launch a product in online business, right? So what would be your best way? So best way is to communicate to customer, to reach able to customer through online. You have to have a good payment gateway integration. You have to have a good website, which will be never ever down, or you would say the website is always update and discount deals. Those things you have to give, right? You should not do any shortcut in there. Okay, no, I'll make a million range of customer, then tomorrow I'll say, okay, I'll do some other things. No, your ethics will say your business the best way. So that's the reason you have to adopt. The most important thing in your business is you from you. So basically what you are going to get, is your conscious mind is really nice for the business, or do you really catering your product or services to the customer? Do you really listen to your customer? If there is a customer complaint to you, so the product is not good or product is very good, how do you address those? Even a customer might be a small or big, you should always accept those changes to your business. And the fourth point I would like to highlight here, improve your emotional intelligence. So which is very important. So sometime as an entrepreneur, I had seen we may lose or we may gain. Suppose I spend $1 billion, but I am not getting that much amount in the 6 months or maybe 9 months or maybe 12 months time, right? So I have a good team, but the team is not focused, or team is not able to perform their job, or they're not motivated, they're not getting motivations, or they're not getting enough amount of information what we are going to do. So if you look at the big company like the industry like Apple or Google, so how they're big? So do you think they are big because of their big brand name? No. So Apple is just like it started with A, right? It doesn't have a good brand name. So when they started, they started just a simple letter, and they work hard. They bought sort of things which is very unique to industry and very unique to the technology worlds. So you have to create those creativity. So let me talk about a couple of Indian industry like Reliance industry. So how they got so big. Even if you look at the Dhirubhai Ambani, who is the founder of Reliance, he's not a MBA graduate, or he's not a graduate even, right? So how he bring those value into reality. So that makes our sense, right? So basically we have to try to, if you're really having entrepreneurial skill, so we have to work hard to get there. So maybe I'm not saying you can't, you will be next Reliance or next Apple. So the potential is within you, right? That's the reason you have to discover you from you, right? Nobody will give you the market, nobody will give you the money, or nobody will say, okay, go and get the investor will make money, because these are all temporary. Your permanent is you. So you have to determine, you have to be more focused, you have to very attention to the business, you have to listen your failure, you have to listen your success, you have to more enjoy during your failure situation, not success. Generally people go by success. Oh, today I got $1 billion in profit. People go for party, people do a lot of spend a lot of money, and they create a lot of noise by using a lot of loudspeaker. Does it necessary? No, it's not necessary. You are enjoying your success. How about your failure? Have you enjoyed your failure? Nobody enjoy your failure, right? Because even it is a human tendency, right? But when you go to that level, you can understand what is your failure. When you try to enjoy your failure, then you have a better idea like how to get success in the more successful life as an entrepreneur. The next point I would like to highlight here. So this is the most important point we call dig deeper. So chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita says everyone has a potential, and everybody, every unique human, or any of the attribute, we could say, everyone has a potential. So find your potential from different situation, whether you are a good, whether you are a bad, whether you are in average life, whether you are having a technical skill or non-technical skill, it doesn't necessarily mean. So if you look at a couple of entrepreneur and the life cycle, how they bring a lot of money, how they create a lot of value to their business. They are not really meant for the business, but they are businessmen. So if you look at Google, right? So do you think they were meant for business and they make a lot of money? Let's say one of the example, I'm from Odisha, Bhubaneswar. So one of the founder, you might be knowing, I think OA, right? OYO. So those hotel industries, hotel chain industry, he makes a lot of money, but he's just a graduate, I guess. He's not even MBA, right? Ritesh Agrawal. So if you look at those kind of people, they made a lot of value to their customer, and they build such a big entrepreneurship in their life, right? So you have to dig deeper, and you may be engineer, you may be a doctor, you may be a medical scientist. It doesn't necessarily mean, but you have to focus your areas. If you know your areas, what you are going to do, what you are trying to bring to the business in terms of product or services or auxiliary services, that make your business more stronger. Okay. And the sixth point I would like to highlight here, as per Gita, it says stand by your decision. So, for example, let's say you are in a situation, let's say you are promoting a product or services in European market or US market. So, but you are sitting in India, you don't have any idea like how the US customers behavior or how they likes or dislikes, what they like, how their marketing buying habits are. Maybe you can get a lot of information from internet source, but you need to really understand what is the best way to reach those customers. Whether you can reach them through online, or you can have your brick and mortar stores to go there and to open a store from 9 to 5, 9 to 6 at the European market and American market. So you should understand your circumstances, you should understand your situations, and also your mind should be always there to fight the situation. For example, you may not get the same like market like the customer or segmentation as per Indian market, right? We are all Indians. So in India, what happen is we have different sentiment analysis, right? When you go to America, there's a different. When you go to Canada, there will be different set of people, and they have different things, right? So we should understand the market. We should understand the regions, market, people, and their mindset, and also what best we are bringing from the product. For example, let me talk about one thing here. So there are a lot of American cars, but in America, people are using a lot of Asian cars or Indian cars. Why? Because it's not only reason specific. It's like people's mindset, right? They wanted to buy such a car which is long, durable, and which is economic for the fuel and all the things, right? It's not only Tesla is the best. No, there are so many models, and Tesla is also the best. So you have to think. You have to compare your products versus your customer, and customer versus the requirement, and kind of thing. So that the reason is the point number 6 is stand by your decision. For example, if you're doing wrong, you should not stand for you are doing wrong. You should definitely correct your mistake, because you can't say, oh, I'm doing great, I'm the best entrepreneur. No, you are not, because you are doing certain things which is not likely by the market doesn't like your product, or market doesn't like the way you are promoting, or the way you are maybe your unethical practice. So you should always adapt those ethics and stand by your decisions. So everybody might be you guys might be
Excuse me, Mr. Senapati, if you could just wrap it up soon.
Okay, sure. Then the last point I would like to highlight is business ethics. So you have to talk about your ethics, your regulations, your you're the best way to bring the values, and that's the most. And the final step is self-realization and technology implementation. For example, now today we are on technology age, so use such a technologies which is good for your business. Like I would like to say, you should use AI, you should use machine learning, you should use deep learning. I'm not saying every industry need it, but yes, most of the industry need it to understand certain machine learning methodology to promote your business. And definitely I would say discover you in you. So nobody will going to help you until unless you are the change, or you are the most motivated in your change. So you have to do that. Yeah, that's all. So thank you very much. I'm open for any questions or comment.
That was a great presentation, Mr. Senapati, especially the motivation part out there. Further, I would like to invite all the attendees to put forward the questions, if any. Yeah. You can just unmute yourself and speak, Ananya Mitra, Divya Gautam, Abhinav Mathur. No questions out here? Siam Pibor, Hanuma Razak. Okay, I think the speech was quite clear. Fine. I would like to thank Mr. Biswaranjan Senapati for his beautiful and motivating speech. Obviously, it was a bit different and quite a good addition to our conference. Further, I would like to request Mr. Senapati if you could just share your email ID in the chat box so that if any attendees have queries, they can reach out personally to you on your mail. Yeah.
Sure.
Further, moving ahead, I would like to inform you that Dr. Amarjit Chopra has actually been absent today due to some health issues. However, he has asked us to share his note and synopsis for conference 1.9. So I would like to request the attendees and all the participants to kindly make a note. And Alti, if you could just share it, it
Sure.
would be a pleasure. In the chat box, please. Yeah. Again, I would like to repeat the point. Attendees and participants, kindly make a note of his synopsis from the conference. It would be useful while you keep drafting your reports for the conference. I would also like to inform you all that we shall be circulating a feedback form for like your feedback and valuable reviews on all our conferences hosted so far. So any attendees from our previous conferences who are present here, as well as attendees from this conference, you can just answer the survey form out here. Yeah. Aditi, if you could share the rest of Dr. Chopra's message, please.
Doing, just give me 1 minute.
Further, I would like to thank all our fellow speakers on the panel for today and all 2 previous sessions for giving your valuable contributions to Conference 1.9 and making it such a warm event. I would also like to thank all the participants for listening to all of us patiently for 1.5 hours of each day. I know it's tiresome sometimes, but again, we need to always remember we might become professionals with 30 to 40 years of experience even, and still then we might realize that there are some questions that are yet unanswered. Thus, learning and development is a solution to such issues even at the age of 70 and 80. That's the reason we do find quite senior advocates too sometimes attending our conferences. Yeah. Further, I would also like to ask all the participants to kindly fill the form right now, if you can. It's just in the chat box. You can just have a look at the link and fill it. It would be a pleasure. And do give out your reviews openly. There's no need to be shy. You can suggest us recommendations for improvement. After all, you are the audience we have been working for. Yeah. So Mr. Chopra's message is also in the box as well. Attendees can just make a note of it, copy it, or click a screenshot, whichever you deem fit appropriate. And you can fill the Google form out there for the survey. Further, moving ahead, I would like to announce that the list of the top 3 speakers for all 3 sessions shall be shared shortly by midnight today in all the conference groups as well as the speakers club. And I would also like to request you all attendees to kindly vote for your favorite speaker for today. You can simply drop a name of your favorite speaker in the chat box and that will do. Come on, faster. We have about 40 people in the meet right now. And yeah, the polls will also happen in the conference groups for all those who have left the meet in the mid. Yeah, great. More votes, please. Faster. I'm at least expecting 38 votes in the chat itself. Come on. Great. Good to go. Excellent. So Ms. Reena Sharma is the highest voted till now. Excellent. Further more votes, please. Faster if you could. A name barely takes us 2 seconds to type. Why hesitate from voting? After all, that's the only constitutional right in the country that has been valued the highest. Faster, faster, faster. Come on, that's barely 15 to 17 votes. We would expect 20 more to pop up immediately. Come on. You can also some inspirational, messages for the speakers if you have any, appraising parts of this speech or recommending them, any suggestions you would love to have in the future. Comments, as we call it, to be precise. Yeah. So moving ahead, I would like to request the HR team to kindly share the certification link in the chat box. Vaishali and Rima, if you could just have a look into it. Yeah. Pastor. Great. So there is the link, and I would like to request all the attendees and participants to kindly fill this link for sure and submit your form to avail your certifications. Without filling the link, you will not be able to get the certifications. And I would also like to inform all the speakers that your certificates would be shared by the HR team immediately post commencement of this session, most probably by 10 p.m. tonight. Further, I would like to thank everyone for making this session such a warm event, and they shall return next month again with Conference 2.0, our 20th conference on impact of hardcore sales in scaling up of startups. One of the most important topics, and obviously the topic of controversy, as we call it. And sales is the hardest part. Okay. So until then, keep dreaming. And yeah, stay connected. Obviously, you can follow us on our YouTube channel. You can subscribe to it. You can click the bell icon to get continuous notifications. And you can also follow us on all our social media handles on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn for the same. Thank you. Have a nice day. Yeah, Ms. Sharma.
Shravan, can I have all the participants on the screen and you can have a group picture with all of us? That
Yeah,
would be
obviously.
great.
If everyone would like to just switch on your webcams for a minute, well, we could have some pics. It's not a physical event, but still, virtually we can click pics.
Yeah.
Aditya and Divya, if you could do me the pleasure for this. Yeah. Everyone, please switch on your webcams. Last photo session. I know something out of the box, but we can. Come on, everyone, faster. Pooja, Rima. इतनी शर्म क्यों आ रही है? दिग्विजय, आप भी ऑन कर लो. Vaishali, you too. Please, do me the pleasure. Great. I guess, Rima, we are good to go. Divya? Everyone who wants to click photos, you are permitted to do so.